pleasing every part. Lay your body down, lay it on down. Lay your body down, lay it on down.
Lay your body down, lay it on down.
Class is about to start. Call me Dr. Tony Pipe, baby. Here to teach you everything you need to learn, lady.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Mingle Radio with your girl, Gina Lamar Evans. We are now live on my YouTube channel. At least I think we are. We're going to be checking that back and forth. But please, if you are listening and tuned in, go to Monday Night Mingle on YouTube. You should see us live on the channel tonight because my super producer hooked that up for me. So we're now on my YouTube channel through intellectualradio.com, of course, because we're going to always be right here on Mondays at intellectualradio.com. But my theme song is on. Make it easy. Hey, welcome to my sex college baby. Hey, the things I'm gonna show you drive you crazy. Man, class is about to start. All right, guys, I'm done singing really poorly and all that other good stuff. Welcome to Monday Night Mingle Radio with your host, Gina Lamar Evans. It has been a Monday. It has been a Monday. It has been a Monday. No other way to put it. We had a great weekend, but we also had a really sad weekend. We lost Herb Kent this weekend. As I talk about Monday Night Mingle Radio, you cannot be on the radio or talk about radio, say the word radio in the city of Chicago without saying and paying tribute to Herb Kent, the Cool Gent. Even though he was 88, all I can say is he was on the radio last Sunday. I heard his voice. I was waiting for my chance to do a battle against him. I have been working on that for a year, and I thought I was close to getting it, to have it happen. So it is truly bigger than the Cubs news to me. I love that. It's truly bigger than the Cubs news. That's right here too, Earl. I want you to see that's written there. That's literally written there. I love it. But everyone's talking about how great of a DJ he was, but just how great of a legend. Like to be at 88, you know, and I didn't know him personally, so I don't know him as a person. I've seen him out. I've seen him in public. You know, he could have been a tyrant at home. He could have been just like, you know, rough. But I know as a legend in radio, somebody who continued to always work on his craft and just be really good at it and to die doing what you love. At the end of the day, he died doing what he loved, you know, before his next day of work. So I want to do that. I want to die talking about sex for a living. The last show, if you guys were tuned in to Rhea, Straight No Chaser, Rhea Ray Harris, they were talking about organ donation, and I am an organ donor. I am a full body donor. I am a cadaver donor. My family knows that when I die, strip my clothes off and let the party keep going. They already know I want to be naked on somebody's table, donated to the college of my choice. I'm pretty sure it's going to be my alma mater, but I don't know yet. I'm not going to lie. That isn't set in stone, but my family does know that. And it's really important that we do make sure we do that. But that's me dying doing what I love, right? Talking about sex for a living, finding cures for anything that you can do. So if I can do that, that'll help me. But again, welcome to Monday Night Mingle Radio on intellectualradio.com. It's been a Monday. It's Monday, right? And while I love, you know, Monday Night Mingle Radio, Monday Night Mingle, Monday's Mention, the Mingling Minute, Monday Morning Motivation, Monday is my day. But when I tell you Monday wears me out, it really does. People talk about me because every Sunday night by 7, I try to be home in relaxed state watching Columbo, because that's what relaxes me, even though I got caught up in the ghetto stuff last night watching the Housewives, one of the wives shows, their reunion or something. Then I had to turn back to Columbo just to bring my evening back into check. So I always like to say, you know, Sunday is my shutdown time. Whatever you see me doing by Sunday evening at 7, I promise you I'm usually home resting because Monday is always a big day for me. Speaking of a big day, we did our mingling minute earlier today again. We're back at Fox doing our mingling minute. Darlene and I had taken a bit of a hiatus because our lives got super busy and things happen, but we are back on track. We've even figured out a way not to end up on a hiatus again. So we've got some things coming up for you. That's good stuff. What we do know, though, is that we did the Mingling Minute, so I need everybody to go to Darlene Hill or go to Monday Night Mingle. Please go to the Monday Night Mingle page and share the video, or at least watch it. We talked about celebratory sex with the Cubs winning and all, because that was major for lots of people. And there's a lot of celebratory sex, a lot of making out, a lot of drinking and sex going on today and this weekend. We saw it. We're watching it happen. So I did a full segment about that. Also, feel free to give me a call, 708-223-8953, to talk about any celebratory sex you've ever had. For your birthday, getting a new job, losing a job. Hey, I think the biggest celebratory sex I've ever heard of was my friend saying he found out his wife was pregnant. And even though they knew like she wasn't taking birth control or anything and stuff, they weren't necessarily trying to get pregnant, but now just in his head, knowing that she couldn't get pregnant, that is the best sex ever. And it just cracked me up. I thought, like, that celebratory sex, celebrating your wife's pregnancy by having more sex. That's always a good thing. He was like, I didn't think twice because I knew she couldn't get pregnant. I thought, yeah, you can get pregnant with fraternal twins. He was like, you always messing stuff up. You and that science. Y'all always coming up with stuff, messing stuff up. I said, I don't know, though. If she's already pregnant now, I think you're pretty good. If you found out about it, that's 8 to 10 weeks in. I'm pretty sure you can't have a baby 8 to 10 weeks apart. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up now. It's a good question. No, I'm pretty sure that can't happen. So thank you so much for tuning into Monday Night Mingle Radio. If you would, please give me a call, 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953, as we talk about the best way to celebrate sex, or you've ever celebrated sex. So did you hear that? I was looking at this thing. That's because I'm doing the most, Earl. But my super producer isn't paying attention to me because he doesn't listen to me. I could be telling him the show that I'm on fire, and he would be like, no, but they're not paying attention. There was actually a show yesterday that somebody was in the green room. I watched that Leverage on Sunday afternoons. Excuse me, Sunday morning I was watching Leverage. And there was a fight happening inside not the green room, the studio, where you inside the sound booth, and they missed all of it because they were looking at something else. But that just came across my mind. So let's talk about what we are here for tonight, Monday Night Mingle Radio. As like I said, we're getting back on track. A couple things have fallen off. Hadn't been here as much as I needed to be in the past, but don't worry. Earl has made it. My super producer has made it great for me now that not another Monday gets passed that you won't have a Monday Night Mingle Radio show. You'll have it audio on intellectualradio.com, and then you'll have the full video if there is one. If I don't do it here, if I do it on my YouTube channel, you're going to have a full one on the YouTube channel, Monday Night Mingle. Right. So Monday Night Mingle has its own YouTube channel. We have Pinterest, we have the internet, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. So look up Monday Night Mingle, find any one of those outlets and make sure you follow us. So we had a great time. As a matter of fact, today, going back to Fox for a minute, I've been with Darlene all day. I just dropped her off. I said, if you're a real trooper, I should make you come do Monday Night Mingle Radio with me tonight, because we've been together since 10 o'clock this morning. I literally just dropped her off and then came to the studio, and she was like, oh no, I'm going to bed. I have to get up in the morning. Really? So do I. Thank you very much. Although she has to be at the studio much earlier than me, but I am going to get her in here. I am going to get her in here for a Monday night radio show. She knows she has to do it. We just keep on saying we're going to do it, going to do it, going to do it. But thanks to Herb Kent, I am going to do a lot of things differently now. Even though he made it to 88, I don't know when it's going to happen. It really threw me. I didn't hear that he had died on Saturday. I'm not too sure what I was doing. I was home in the bed. Oh, I know what I was. I was in bed all day Saturday watching stupid Law and Order, like a marathon over and over and over. And so I wasn't like on social media or talking to the media or anything. So I missed that he died. I didn't find out until Sunday when I resurrected on Sunday. And I was really saddened to hear that simply because I didn't know that anything was going on with him. I don't know if he was sick. I hadn't heard about him being sick. He was on air last Saturday. And again, just a true testament to who he was as a radio legend, right? Like, who gets to get them a weekend show that they come in? Well, wait a minute. I think I have that already. I come in once a week, right? He gets to come in once a week. Well, everybody's going to work every day. He comes in twice a week. And like more people tune in to his show on the weekend, like doing their work while they're getting ready. They know the battle is going to happen. So many things happen. Just real legendary. I happen to know his daughter, Robin, socially. And I will tell you, they kept saying Linda. I'm not sure who Linda was, if that's his wife or who Linda was, but my condolences to the Kent family as a whole. But again, really, really happy to know that he died doing what he loved. And whatever it was, he was still able to get up and do it as of last week, and then this week you're gone. So while I have taken a couple of hiatuses and a couple of things have fallen by the wayside, I've gotten a little complacent. That's a real wake-up call. Thank you, Herb Kent, the Cool Gent, for all of your service. I remember having this show talking about the other one who just, did I just say the other one who just died? Could not think of Doug Banks' name. But twice now, I'm talking about radio legends being on Monday Night Mingle Radio. And that's always a good thing to be able to pay tribute and homage to the people who have gone before you and paved the way for things like Monday Night Mingle Radio to happen and on intellectualradio.com. I really think that we have to always make sure we understand what that really means, right? Like, oh yeah, they did it, but they're not doing it like we've done it. That's not true. In order for us to be here to do it, they had to have gone through some things for us to be here. And for that, I do understand and will always thank. I'm going to take a quick break. Didn't recognize how raspy my throat was. For a second, I'm going to grab me some water. You're tuned in to Monday Night Mingle Radio on intellectualradio.com. I'll be back in just a minute.
Lay your body down, lay it on down.
Lay your body down, lay it all down.
Class is about to start. Call me Dr. Tony Pipe, baby. Here to teach you everything you need to learn, lady. Here's a quick way to get it easy, yeah. You ain't even gotta be the brother day. Me and you up in this room, yeah. Making all type of sounds, baby, you wanna hear you echo. It's my specialty. Threes in every part of me. You'll be my number one student, baby. I'll be your number one professor, honey. Please open up your heart and give it to me. I'll give you all the knowledge that you need. This is how you get it easy. Hey, welcome to my sex college, baby. The things I'm gonna show you drive you crazy, girl. Class is about to start, so step into my room so you can get her easy. Hey, welcome to my sex college, baby. The things I'm gonna show you drive you crazy, girl. Class is about to start.
Sitting at my crib, watching raindrops fall, thinking about that girl that I met in the hall. Pretty brown eyes, real cute smile, the kind of girl that drives a young man wild. Sitting in this class, daydreaming about you all day, the things that I will do to you in every way. This is the kind of girl that gets an easy A. Hey, hey, J. Will. You'll be my number one student, baby. I'll be your number one professor, honey. Please open up your heart and give it to me. I'll give you all the knowledge that you need.
This is how you get an easy A. Welcome to my sex college, baby. The stick alone show you drive you crazy, girl. Class is about to start, so step into my room.
Welcome back to Monday Night Mingle Radio on intellectualradio.com. I am your host, Gina Lamar Evans. Thank you so very much for tuning in this evening. Be sure, give me a call, 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. I have a new fancy Polycom in front of me that I will now be answering, which I love when you call me at 708-223-8953. And let's talk about some celebratory sex you've had. I told you about the one person who said he just enjoyed being able to have it with his wife because she was now, oh, my pen doesn't work, because she was now pregnant. So I thought that was pretty good. And of course, you always have, when you're feeling better, when your bank account is full, your belly is full, you tend to have more sex, right? Or, as some people said, we talked about this once before on Monday Night Mingle Radio, should the unemployed date? And a lot of men said, absolutely. I'm now unemployed. I've got plenty of time to date. Or should you be focusing on your finances? Because, when you're not financially stable, you don't feel, as strong and should not necessarily, or maybe not necessarily want to spend those dollars on dating and things like that. And several men said, absolutely, you should date. You got plenty of time to do so now. You have more time to do, when you have more time to get together and have sex. And I said, that's not dating though. That's having sex, right? And I thought that was really interesting because while we were talking about dating, several of the men raised their hands and said, you have plenty of time to do it now. And I thought that's an interesting, line of what you think is dating versus what you think is talking about sex. So there's a difference in what we consider dating versus what we consider sex. So what about the Chicago baseball team, right? That's when you have difficulty saying the Cubs. Hey, I'm a Sox fan. I am what I am, right? And until you've actually won the series like the Sox have, I'm just saying, you're still, not a World Cup holder. Or is that soccer? Right. However that is. You're not a champion until you still hold that. I always like to make sure that I thank my sponsors, Pillar Insurance. Go to Pillar Insurance for all of your insurance needs. Pillar.com. Yes, pillar.com, or call them 773-288-3200. Again, 773-288-3200 for all of your insurance needs. And then T's Hair Salon. I know you can't tell right now because I didn't make it to the salon this past weekend, but T Salon, always for your hair care needs. We have barbers, we have a lockologist, we have short hair, long hair, weave, and Steve. Okay, I don't know what Steve is. I just came up with that. It just seemed to rhyme. But definitely T's Boutique and Salon, 4502 South Cottage Grove, and Pillar Insurance, 4504 South Cottage Grove. I'm going to need some sponsors at different places, although I do have different sponsors. I do need some sponsors at different places. There's Always Reds, New Generation, 6926 South Stony Island. They're another one who believes in Monday Night Mingle Radio on intellectualradio.com and make sure that we have what we need to continue this show. All right, so I'm waiting on some callers. Please make sure you tune in here as we talk about celebratory sex. But I am going to share one little story about celebratory sex that did happen, right? Or that does happen. For me, Of course, there's always that New Year's Eve and that birthday sex that happens for certain people. If you're not lucky enough to get it like every chance you can, unlike me, so you do have the celebratory. But what happens when you don't even have anybody to celebrate with, i.e. the new year, and it's as we're gearing up for the new year because 2017 is 2 months away, 2 months and 2 weeks away, or is it more? It's more like 2 months and 1 week away. It's not even 2 weeks anymore. Next Monday is October 31st, Halloween, and we'll talk about that too. But when we're talking about celebratory sex, people tend to let their guard down. Everybody's feeling good, be it when your bank account is full, or for some people when your bank account is empty. The guy who said he has plenty of time to have sex now because he's unemployed. Doesn't mean he's without money, though. That's another thing to look at too, because if you've managed your money properly, you can be unemployed. It doesn't mean that you're without money. But what it does mean, we're talking about celebratory sex and some of the things that happen. Oh, I have to tell you about the ride share story as well. I'm sorry. Clearly, Dara and I had Mexican, and I'm feeling it now, but it was good. But when you're talking about celebratory sex, does that include protected sex? And one of the things that we see happening all of the time, we see that people feel good, they let their guard down, they are drinking, and when you drink more or party more and you're feeling good and those endorphins are being released and everything feels good, you're just like, okay, fine. The Cubs are going to the World Series. That hasn't happened in 71 years. I'm going to try unprotected sex. I haven't done that in 17 years. Yet you're trying it with someone who unfortunately has been having plenty of unprotected sex and could very well have an STI. That puts you at risk. I'd be interested to look and see whether or not our STI rates spike. I won't be able to find this out until like October of next year, maybe by April of next year, because the fourth quarter reports of numbers will come out for STIs will be to us by the end of the first quarter, which ends March 31st, 2017. So I think we should look at that and see whether or not there was a spike in gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis because people were partying for the Cubs and a little too much partying went on without protection. It's hard. It's hard to have the conversation when you're having a good time. It's hard to have the conversation when you're feeling good and everything has been going great. And we've been making out. We're watching the Cubs. They're winning. We're drinking. We're having a good time. We're eating. We're sharing kisses. We're really, really affectionate. Then we get home and say, I'm going to need you to put a condom on. Then it's like, come on, we were having such a good time. Don't blow it now. And I just need us to be able to say for 2 seconds, is it worth the spread of another sexually transmitted infection? If you think it is, then go ahead. Then go to MondayNightMingle.com and figure out where to get treated and tested, or tested and treated. I love when people walk in sometimes and just know what they have. They're like, yeah, I'm going to need another one of those shots. I'm sorry, your flu shot, like that much? That's the one thing you get annually? They're like, no, that shot where I was dripping before, I was leaking, or I had less than so happening. Give me another one of those shots. So yeah, people actually just kind of walk in. You know how the guy on Andy Griffith, what's the guy that would just come in and arrest himself? Otis. He knew he was drunk. He knew he was going to get arrested for being drunk. He just, come on, open and put himself in for being drunk and lock it up. That's what we have with some people we call frequent flyers, when they just come on in and tell us exactly what it is. And then we start having the conversation where we say, if you know you put yourself exposure again for gonorrhea, what could you have done differently? Are you at least telling your partner? Are you getting gonorrhea from the same partner because you keep coming to get treated, but you won't tell them? Is that what's happening? And then sometimes they're like, yes, but other times they're like, nope, that was from somebody different. So that means there's a lot of gonorrhea floating around. Darlene asked me earlier, like, how do we get rid of it? I said, if you could just give me, I need 30 good days for everybody to stop having unprotected sex. I would never ask you to stop having sex. Spike Lee did that in that movie, Chirac, and it just, flopped by the wayside because, of course, the absolute thought of not having sex unless you're in a drought just makes people say, you can't do that. You can't withhold sex from your partner, your boyfriend, your John, whatever the case may be. But you really can. If you would just stop having unprotected sex, 30 good days, and then everyone get tested and treated. Everyone, you know how we're asking everyone to get out and vote November 8th? I'm asking everyone to just take 30 days, no unprotected sex, walk into your nearest clinic. You can go to mondaynightmingle.com under Mingling with Medicine, look at that tab and find out where to get tested and treated. And then we could eradicate those numbers. They are really, really hot in North Lawndale, in Lakeview, Uptown. I know my community areas, 136, 77, and 25. Like those are my hot areas. 49, which happens to be hot, that's South Shore. Woodlawn, I think, is 40. Yeah, it's community area 40. Those numbers are the Chicago community areas, and those numbers are where it's hot. I can't always remember the names. I remember the numbers, unfortunately. Why they call me Rain Man. Although, if we could just get you to get treated, no unprotected sex for 30 days. Do you know Chicago could stop losing its spot? We could lose our spot for number 2 in the nation for the highest STIs. We are the second highest in the United States of America for sexually transmitted infections. I personally am very pissed with this number 2. Either get us to number 1 or get us off the list. That's all I'm asking. Get me to number 1. Let's beat out California. No, it's not California. It's an entire state. Can't think of the number 1 state. I think it might be Los Angeles, which can be a county or whatever the case may be. But I need you to get us out of being number 2, get us to number 1, or get us off the list. All right. No calls are coming in for me, Earl, so I'm going to need you to ask me a question. No, I'm kidding. Tell me about your celebratory sex, because it gets really hard doing my show for 1 hour without my guests. And that's totally my fault, because there are a couple of people that were supposed to be scheduled for tonight, and I needed to confirm some things, and I didn't. But don't worry, it won't happen again, because Earl has me all set up now that I'm on my YouTube page, Monday Night Mingle, which has been established for years now. The Monday Night Mingle page has been established for years. We now figured out how to do it with intellectualradio.com, and we are going to always do it. That's going to be good stuff. You got to watch it. So, Earl, have you ever had celebratory sex?
No.
He says no. You know what? He kills me. You've never had New Year's Eve or birthday sex, Okay, that's my really bad singing and stuff as we talk about it. I have celebrated a really good time with sex, not necessarily unprotected. But, hey, you got sex, and you normally would not have. That's a good thing. That's what celebratory sex is. But, it's one of the things that happens, and we'll talk more about that on a different show. I would like to take just a minute, though, and talk about some of the things that drive Monday Night Mingle. And it continues to be, while no one likes to get on the air and talk about certain things, my inbox stays jumping with really good things, right? I'm holding an inbox request right now, not a friend request, but an inbox request from, I think it's called Strange ATL, and a woman, she's a poet. If you go to my Facebook page, it'll be on there. Go to the Monday Night Mingle page. I'll be sure that it's up there. And she has this conversation about it. Well, it's not a conversation. She does this poem. It's a really great poem about dating a brother on the down low. And he was infected, and they have a child. I don't quite remember if the poem indicates whether or not she became infected, but she did say that their child might be the best thing to have ever come from it. And I thought it was really great that she would do this kind of poem, because at first you think it's just a poem, but she really does shout out her child, at the end of it, and talk about how great the blessing is for this relationship to have happened. And I thought that was pretty powerful. It's Strange ATL, so make sure you follow her. At least I saw the poem and I thought it was really, really great, the piece. And I noted it. It's a great piece, and I'm going to put it on the Monday Night Mingle page. But we like to talk about criminalizing people with HIV. We like to talk about the gossip part, or what's happening and who did we find out had HIV and how did we know that they had HIV, and they should be telling people. But you also have, my line, are you a victim or a volunteer? At some point you have to acknowledge your role in receiving, transmitting, or exposing yourself to HIV. Receiving, transmitting, or exposing yourself to HIV. So you should always go to mondaynightmingle.com, look at some of the articles, look up some of the places to get tested. We talk about gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, trichomonas, erectile dysfunction, trichomoniasis, syphilis, HIV. So there's an article on those things, and that you can look at them at the leisure of your home, and you can see what's what. But I know that Monday Night Mingle is going to continue to exist because I'm still getting new cases. Chicago is still the second highest in the U.S. for STIs. We still have people coming in doing the Otis, like telling us what to treat them for before they walk in, because they already know what it is, and that's got to stop. And I think one of the things that happens is they're like, oh, as long as I can get treated and I don't have to tell anybody about it and it gets to stay a secret, right? I'm thinking if you start getting gonorrhea, if there's a strain that came out that gave you a red X that went over your left eye, and it let everybody know that you'd now been exposed to gonorrhea, would you be so apt to keep getting it? Because it's always about privacy, right? And I know that based on pregnancy. People don't care about things that you don't have to tell anybody about. Your gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis, you can keep getting it treated. You don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to tell anybody about it. If there really was something flying there, I promise you. You don't have to tell anybody about it. Babies, though, you have to tell people about, right? You end up getting pregnant. Now they know you're having sex. You have gonorrhea, chlamydia, or syphilis, or you get treated for things that are treatable, then nobody knows you were having unprotected sex. And that's the difference. And you have to know when to make that change. So with Monday Night Mingle, and the question continues to come up because thank goodness our exposure is growing and we're getting new people. And they ask the question, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you having these conversations? And I said, never in a million years, or definitely when I was 6, 16, or 26, did I understand that I would get paid so much to talk about sex for a living. And the reality is the main mode of transmission for HIV continues to be unprotected sex. As long as we're having unprotected sex, there is an exposure and a risk. We were talking about it with babies. If there's a baby being born with HIV, very few babies are being born with HIV. There's some who slip through the cracks, which means the mother got no prenatal care, because otherwise we would have tested and treated in utero, which means we can give the mom meds so that it doesn't pass to the baby. We can make sure the baby receives meds as soon as they're born to make sure that the baby isn't positive, but they are exposed, and there is a difference. You have to know the difference. What we did find, we just had the STI update recently, September 29th, actually, and we did find that there's some congenital syphilis. We had about 458 cases of congenital syphilis in the last few years here in Chicago, or here in the Midwest, and that's unacceptable. And I think it may have been in the US, actually. But 458 cases of babies being born with syphilis when they didn't have to be, that's major, because we can treat. Syphilis is treatable. We can get in there, we can treat it, and there's no reason that babies are being born with syphilis, because syphilis is pretty serious. It can cause blindness. It can cause so many other things. And we're going to talk more about as we break them down. We'll do a whole segment on gonorrhea, one segment on chlamydia, one segment on syphilis. We'll do an entire segment on meningitis and HPV. Everyone keeps talking about HPV. And the commercial, I think, is a really great commercial, again, talking about the vaccine, that says to your child when they're 25 with cancer, cervical cancer, penile cancer, or one of the cancers, and says, hey, mom and dad, did you know that if you got me vaccinated, I wouldn't have caught cancer, or I had a less chance, a really low chance of catching cancer? You didn't know that, right? Because if so, you would have gotten me vaccinated. And I thought, that's a really good, powerful statement to say to parents, because you don't want your children to have cancer. There just isn't. That entire premise of St. Jude's and Shriners and Lurie's and Comer and all the children's hospitals, they fight so hard to take care of these babies with ailments like cancer. But to put your child at risk for it by simply not getting them vaccinated, that's something we should talk about. That's a whole new thing that we will. And we will address that on Monday Night Mingle Radio on a Mingling Minute. We'll even talk about it at Monday Night Mingle, which happens every first Monday at Red's, 6926 South Stony Island, from 6 to 10. It's an after-work set. Get there right after work. We'll have food. We'll have drinks. And then we can have these roundtable conversations. November 7th is our next Mingle. It happens every first Monday. And it has been confirmed that we're going to have Chuck Dog in the house, who's going to do Family Feud for us. It's going to be so much fun. I sent him a list of questions. And if you have a question that you really want asked, we will survey the audience, and then we will see which person comes up with those answers. So I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to be wrapping up in just a minute. I would like for you to make sure that you always go to MondayNightMingle.com, go to the Facebook page, Monday Night Mingle, share the Mingling Minute, give me some feedback on it. Let me know what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. Unfortunately, if you say, as someone has said, rudely, but it's okay, because that's what the public is supposed to do. Give me their opinions. Shut up talking about sex and give me sex. Yeah, someone said that to me. Now, of course, they didn't identify themselves, so that sex is never going to happen because you didn't identify yourself, because you were so busy trying to be rude and tell me to shut up talking about it. I can't stop talking about it as I continue to get new infections coming into the offices. I just can't stop talking about it when babies are being born with syphilis. I can't stop talking about it when people are getting ill from being infected with HIV and not testing and getting from an HIV status to an AIDS status, because you can't catch AIDS. You have to catch HIV. It progresses into AIDS. And that happens when you don't get your status updated. You don't check your status, not check yourself, because people say, well, I do my breast exam, I check myself. If you don't get your status updated, and I mean test, and if you've had unprotected sex in the last, year, test again, you are at risk. Everyone keeps talking about that person over there or somebody else, or you have to be promiscuous. You don't have to be promiscuous. You can be a married woman, and your husband, named Magic Johnson, could come home with HIV and make an exposure into your household. It can happen. It happens more frequently than people understand. So I'm going to sign off with that one. We'll be back next week for Halloween. I'm going to have some in-studio guests, and we're going to be all dressed like French maids. Okay, probably not, but tune in next Monday to Monday Night Mingle Radio on intellectualradio.com and on our new Facebook channel, on our YouTube channel, which is not new, Monday Night Mingle. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're tuned into Intellectual Radio with your host, Gina Lamar Evans. Have a good night.
Here's a quick way to get it easy. You ain't even gotta be the brother day. Me and you up in this room, yeah, making all type of sounds. Baby, you wanna hear you echo. It's my specialty, pleasing every part of me. You'll be my number one student.